Hello, my name's Tom Carhill. It's Saturday the 30th of August 2014. I'd like to make a quick video about this lady who I came across once. Well, it's sort of like a he-she. I'm not sure. It's like one of these people, what they call transgenders. Now, it's a bit weird, right? Because, normally if you're going to be transgendered and you can say, oh, I was a man born as a woman. I forget which way round, because she did actually say which way they were born, but they changed it around anyway. The he/she in question is called Veronica Chapman. But now the point is that he/she sort of wears sort of makeup, but then wears really weird clothes, so it looks like kind of man, like a woman who wears butch men, like manly clothes. So it's kind of like not consistently trying to look like a woman. It's just kind of like a weird, freakish, confusing mess. So, and I'm not saying that about their actual physical appearance. I'm talking about the sort of style of, makeup with kind of like sort of tomboy type clothes. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And it completely confuses the fuck out of people anyway, as a lot of these gender bender type people do. But anyway, I'm not here to speak about that. But I will just, it's said it's very difficult. I don't really like calling someone a he if they're I forget, she's trying to be a woman now, but I don't know what she was to start off with. I don't really know how it works. But you see, the point with this one is that if you've got someone who's like a complete distraction, you can see how much that distracted me then. It's very easy to see how if you've got an important message to get across, the last thing you need to do is have someone who's like a gender bending freak trying to pass the message on. I'm not saying that to be nasty, but that's the reality of it. And you can see that this is the case even more so because I believe at the last Eurovision Song Contest they had like a woman with a beard, didn't they, on it, who was giving some kind of weird message and she won or he won or whatever. Fucking yeah, it's just a complete confusion to fuck people's heads up. That's the whole point of it. And of course you've also got, well, I don't know if it's true, people say, don't they, that Michelle Obama's actually a man, and you look at them and sort of think, oh, actually, yeah, it's probably possible, maybe it is, I don't know. But anyway, the point with this Veronica Chapman, she calls herself, she wrote a book, and I'm always a bit suspicious about these people who've got a book that just appears out of nowhere. They don't seem to do any work now. They just seem to write these books and then get people to sort of do things on the back of the fact that they're like kind of an expert on something, and they're not actually an expert on it at all, and they just get the people in lots of trouble. And the thing that really, I knew she was no good. I knew bad news. And the reason I knew this to start off with a big danger sign, was I heard her slagging somebody off once. And I can't remember what it was. She was sort of telling a story, and she was referring to them as a retarded wanker. Now it's like, well, if they're retarded, they're retarded. And if you've got like a problem with them and you want to offend them, assault, give them an assault on the character, you can't really do the both at the same time. It's not what a credible person does. You either say, well, they're not really right in their head, or you say, give them some kind of a foul-mouthed abuse. You can't really go down both ways. So that was a red flag. It's not what a credible, sort of compassionate, thinking, altruistic person would say. And then the other thing was, somebody came along to one of these talks that was put on in London in Friend's house, the Quaker house near Euston Station. And there was this man in the audience wanting to say something, and I got the feeling by the look of him and the way he talked and his demeanour that he was a barrister or something like that. He was in a sort of an establishment figure to one extent or the other anyway, and he was asking her some kind of question or asking a question. She just started like shouting at him, like shouting over him so he couldn't hear a word he was saying. Completely uncouth. She needs a fucking punch in the head. That's the kind of behaviour. Total yobbo, yeah, right? So you've got total thuggish yobbo behaviour. Also, she likes the sound, or she likes the sound of her own voice, because after that, I went across the road to speak to Guy Taylor and Michael Dougherty. Now, you see, the thing with her is that you kind of tolerate her because you're not interested in anything she's got to say, but you're interested in what the other two have to say. But for some reason, they're tolerating her. Now, I think with Guy Taylor, it's just that he's got an extremely bad judge of character. And he's one of these people who doesn't understand if you hang around with enough shit, you're going to get shit all over you, and you're basically just going to become like a, it's like a dirty protest. His behaviour, he's obviously got some slight screw loose somewhere, even though he's clever and I think he's credible. I just don't think he's firing on all cylinders. So I've talked to him a few times. He comes across an extremely nice guy, very credible. There's obviously something wrong there. It doesn't make sense. And you know, he stood to lose a lot from hanging around with some of the scum that he's hanged around with, and he doesn't disassociate with them, and he really should have done, and he hasn't. So, you know, as I said, it's his problem, it's not mine. He's damaged goods, as I said, got shit all over the goods. Might be a perfectly good box of equipment, but got shit all over it. You know, people aren't going to want to know. That's Guy Taylor. He completely fucked himself up there. But that's me, you know, like I said, he's probably a nice guy. I really do think he generally is, and he's genuine. He's not trying to deceive anyone, but if you've got scum around you like that, it's, you know, he's always going to make you look bad, and they're going to be having their little things going on the side, causing people problems, and it's all going to come back on him. Anyway, right, and of course there's the fact that he's, you know, he's had struggles with people trying to repossess property and stuff, and he's got lots of property to repossess. You know, he can potentially lose a lot more than a lot of people would do. Right, so anyway, the point is, I remember tolerating this one because we sat there in a pub, probably had 2 or 3 hours, sat there having a couple of drinks. I hardly drank anything actually because I wanted to listen. The fact is, she was just constantly just wanting to talk. You know, these people who just wants to like talk. It's like, oh, I can butt in now and I can just talk, and people aren't going to tell me to fuck off, so I'm just going to do it, even though I can't think of anything to say. It was that kind of talking, and we all do it once in a while where you're bored and you just talk about something and it's a bit pointless, but you don't do it when people are actually not really wanting to listen to you. They're wanting to listen to somebody else, and then you just talk over them for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes at a time when people are clearly not interested, don't want to listen. So, you know, doesn't read social cues, or sorry, probably does read them and just doesn't give a fuck. That's my reading of it. Then there was the other thing is that with those other two, I was interested in what they had to speak about. Just quickly, I mean, I now since think Michael Dougherty's disinformation agent. He's up to something. I'm not exactly sure what, but you know, I wouldn't trust him. And as I said, Guy Taylor's like a write-off because he continues to hang around with scum like Brian Gerrish, so, you know, he's a write-off. The point with this Veronica Chapman is I went to one of these hearings when I was still speaking to Michael Dougherty. Actually, this gave me a lot of cause concern about him not being trustworthy. And there was this guy at the talk, who I believe to be very not talk, at this thing where he was going to issue a summons in a magistrate's court. And there was this guy there called, I forget what his name is. Anyway, I'm not going to say his name. The point is, I believe this guy to be very credible. He's not a liar. Do you know what I mean? He might be easily enough to deceive, but he's not going to deliberately mislead you. And what he came out with, he says, oh, she doesn't speak to me anymore. I don't know where it came up from. He says, she doesn't speak to me anymore because the other week we had to go to this court case and she couldn't go. But I went, and then when I left, she said, did you arrest the judge? And he said, no, of course I didn't. And she said, right, that's it, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, because that's what you need to do. If they're not on their oath, you've got to arrest them. So like, she's quite clearly trying to get people sent to prison. So that's why, in a nutshell, I wouldn't have anything to do with her. I think she's scum. She's an oddball as well. But you see, a lot of these people who are kind of weird agitators are mentally not right, and it's kind of like serves as cover. And it also makes them seem totally incredible, so that if they ever sort of want to sort of roll on the person who's been paying them, it's just not really going to be believable. Anyway, I'd like to hear anything anyone else has to think about her. I think she's an insignificant character now, or she's an insignificant character now. As I said, I don't want to be rude about this odd gender-bending freakishness, but, you know, I'm just saying it's all part of the act, I think. Even though it might be, you know, genuine, that's part of the reason for the selection. Right, my name's Tom Carhill. It's Saturday the 30th of August 2014. Right, bye-bye.